Hello, hello, beautiful souls. Kathleen here. I wanted to pop in, and as you may notice, I've been playing with filters, which is kind of fun. Because I was having a conversation with someone about childhood abuse and, of course, narcissistic abuse. And, of course, we can have narcissistic parents, and there's so many layers to this. And I wanted to relate a story or two here. First of all, we ask ourselves, I know I've asked myself, how did we get into the relationship with a narcissist in the first place? Why were we, excuse me, I have an itch. Why were we drawn into all the love bombing and the idealization? And, the thing is, if we think about it, if we were feeling really good within ourselves, if we were confident, if we were empowered, if we felt, if we loved ourselves and felt secure within ourselves, would we attract that? Would we really absorb that in and really eat it up? Because that's kind of, and this is where the trauma bond comes from, right? Because we get bonded to this. It's like we don't want to let go. I see so many people who are stuck in the relationship, like they're afraid to let go of that. Like they have this need, this deep need for the idealization from the narcissist, whatever they said, that you're so beautiful, handsome, wonderful, whatever. Why do we need that? So we need to look within ourselves. And I want to share something because I have been working with people and coaching hypnotherapy for 15 plus years. And it's interesting because every time someone was stuck in their life, and they might be in their 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever, but they'd be stuck somewhere. It could be just some repeating pattern. Sometimes it was kind of subtle, sometimes not so subtle. And every single time it would go back to some childhood incident. And the way I'd figure this out easily, because we can do, life coaching where we're talking more on a conscious level, where we're kind of analyzing it. And when we're at that level, I think I was sharing this the other day, it's hard to get to the bottom and the core reasons behind things, right? So what hypnotherapy does, it's guided, I do intuitive guided meditation that takes people to a deeper level. It's not taking over their mind or anything, but it's when we relax, that's when the ideas come up. That's where the thoughts come up that help us. For example, let's say you lose your keys and you're frantic and you're stressed out and you're all in your head trying to figure out where they are. But if you sit down and you breathe and you just kind of relax and just let the answer come to you, then, it's like you're tapping into your memory, your intuition, because at the subconscious level, that's where our memories are. It's also where our emotions are. I've done healing around the weight stuff. It's all connected, because then the weight goes back to what's the emotional stuff that's causing us to overeat, right? Feed our emotions. And that food that tastes so good, it reminds me of the narcissist and the love bombing and how that tastes really good. And, we just want to, it kind of like soothes the emotional stuff that's buried underneath. But getting back to my point, it's just all connected. So in the hypnotherapy, intuitive guided meditation, I'd take people to a deeper level where they relax and we'd visualize, and they would literally, sometimes, it's just a memory that comes as a scene in your mind. And there's different techniques for just sort of unlocking that, not in a bad way. We can tell ourselves, or in my case, clients, that we're not going to be emotional about it. We're not going to be traumatized, but we can just observe. But what happens is when we get to the root cause, it's interesting to make that connection. I've often felt like the Sherlock Holmes of the mind, like a detective, like, okay, let's find out where this comes from. We believe, it's a belief, but these beliefs are caused by, these beliefs that keep people stuck, I should say, whatever it is that you're stuck in, it's caused by these past emotional things. That's where the belief comes from. I mean, stuff that's happened to us in the past that creates the belief. Oh, this is the way it is. So as an example, there was a woman who came to me, and I think I might have shared it in a previous video. This is like over a decade ago. I don't even remember their name now, but they were said she was an esthetician, and meaning she does facials, and she was working really hard on her own face because she had skin problems, is what she told me over the phone. And she came in and her face looked absolutely flawless. I was shocked. I was waiting for somebody who had all these issues, and she's like, I'm trying to find a way to, finally fix my face. And it's like, there's nothing wrong. It looks perfect. Oh, but if you look super close. So in her mind, she had developed this belief that her face didn't look right, that she had whatever little scarring or something that you couldn't even see. It's amazing what the mind does. But when we did a little bit of visualization and the emotions came out, because she'd been kind of bottling this up, and I was also having a conversation with someone else about this, right? Holding in our emotions, suppressing our experience. And it came out, and she cried, and she's like, I remember coming in the kitchen, and she was like 7 years old or something like that, which is often when it is, like before the age of 8 or 9, we're living at the subconscious level, and we absorb everything like a sponge. And her stepfather was holding her mother by the hair and holding her face over a hot stove, threatening to burn her face. Now, I mean, she wasn't directly being abused, my client, but, her mother was being abused. And of course, that caused emotional abuse to the child, really, all this turmoil, seeing her mom being treated this way. So there's so many different forms of abuse, right? Whether it's physical, mental, emotional, or observing, or whatever, subjecting, a child to something like this. So, and then it was a matter of, okay, now we know where it's coming from. My belief is when it comes to the surface, and when we have an awareness of where, if we're stuck somewhere in our life, where that comes from, what belief is being created. So her belief, it was coming out in an emotional way about, I've got to fix my face, and it'll like fix my emotional stuff around my mother and her face. And I mean, there was just no conscious awareness that this was going on, that this is where it came from. But it was these deep, unhealed emotions that were coming from this childhood memory. And I've had so many other people that I've worked with that have, again, it's so much going back to childhood. And even things that they've observed or experienced that, maybe the adult in their life didn't mean any harm, but it was said in such a way that the child's mind turned it into something bigger, something terrible, and created this lifelong belief that just got stuck at the subconscious level. Because again, that's where we're at when we're kids, and it just stays there. So when we heal our emotions, and I have a book that I wrote. So in my coaching and healing journey, I wrote this book, Lose the Diet, Transform Your Body by Connecting with Your Soul. And it's a play on words. People think it's a diet book, and I'm like, no, it's about healing our emotional stuff, because food becomes this drug, like the narcissist become a drug, like alcohol becomes a drug, or whatever. That's really a band-aid over our emotional stuff. So it's all, to me, it's like a wheel, in the center is the emotional abuse, the physical abuse, the experiences that we had when we were younger that manifest. If you picture the spokes of a wheel, how does it manifest? Does it manifest in attracting the wrong relationships that we become trauma bonded to? Or does it manifest into foods that we crave with high sugar content or something? Or does it manifest into drug abuse? So it just comes out in various ways. And I've I've always thought of the axle, or the center of the wheel. That's the focus. It's not, when you heal the center of the wheel, when you heal that axle that's in the middle, then all the spokes fall into place. Our relationships improve, our eating healthier improves. We can maybe let go of alcohol, drugs, whatever. So it's always about those core things that are buried there. And 99% of the time, it's not from when we were 40. It's the stuff that happened to us when we were kids. So anyway, I wanted to share that thought with you. And, would love to hear from you, comments, feedback, where you're struggling, where you need help. My goal is to help to empower others and get them unstuck and get them moving and really living the life in their fullest potential. Instead of being disempowered and at a level where life isn't all that great, and maybe, you're not able to help others because of the state that you're in. So by helping people, it helps the rest of the world. And anyway, I hope this message resonates with you. I hope it gives you an aha moment around, what I'm saying here. And anyway, feel free to comment, as I said, and I hope you're enjoying the rest of my content. Bye for now. I'll see you again later. And don't forget, if you ever want to talk, text, have a clarity call with me, feel free to reach out. This is literally about helping you and going deeper into where you're stuck and how to get unstuck and on track in your life. So you're always welcome to reach out to me and we can jump on a call. And I'll talk again with you soon.